Hello, welcome to McBoss Capital channel. I'm Michael and here with Neil, and this is market recap for the week ending May 17, 2024. So we had a fall through day this week according to NVDA, and that was Wednesday here, right here. And it was a very powerful day for Nasdaq. And volume, you can tell right here, was higher than the previous day, and also on that day we make a new high, and you can see since that time we have pulled back slightly, but still, close not too far from that high there. So if I go to this, let's see, 15 minute chart here, or yeah, so here's the gap up right here on the opening, and then it power higher, and then the next day we continue in the morning, and then since then we kind of been just slowly giving back, and that's a good thing actually, because that means that people are not rushing to sell. There's always going to be people who's going to take profit, but the fast climb and slower downward thing is always a good thing. So in a way, we're just digesting here, and IBD also talk about, like, you don't want it to just keep going up, because that usually means you'll just die the rally eventually. So this is a good thing. So yeah, we have an official follow through day. IBD now are saying the investment size would be 80 to 100% of your allocation. So it's pretty much quite bullish at this point. The other thing that's happening is you can see the 10-day green line trajectory is pretty strong, and also above the 21-day. 21-day is also climbing now. That's the trajectory, and they're both above the red line, which is the 50-day, and the 50-day is also starting to rise. Yeah, so this is a very strong uptrend right now, based on those moving line averages. Just to see where it is in terms of 50-day, right now it's above it by 3.4%, which is normal. Generally 3 to 5% is normal. Anything above 5, like 7 or 8%, usually means it's a little bit far extended. So we're not too far extended right now, and the fact that the market is digesting 2 days after this 1 day gap up gains, and giving back so little, is really a good sign. So that's Nasdaq, and also, like, because the 10-day, 21-day now above 50-day, we could potentially start a new power trend, and the power trend, I think something like 10 days or something. If it's above it, it would be, so right before, in last year in November, you can see around 10 days above this 50-day, we have started the power trend, and this power trend continues for quite a long time. So we're looking for that power trend move, like, I think by Tuesday maybe. If it close above the 50-day moving average, the short term close above that, it will be considered a power trend, and that's quite a bullish sign. So we're looking for that. Let's go to S&P. Very similar. I think that all the major index have broke out on the same day, Wednesday. Very similar. Let's go Dow Jones. So this one also broke out, I think, like, yeah, 40,000. This one was able to close at the highest high on Friday, so this one even stronger. I'm sure that's headline everywhere this weekend, and so that, yeah, very powerful. The industrials are doing really well. And then we have Russell. So Russell, we are at 2100 level. So we tested the 2000 many times, and this uptrend is quite strong. You can see the slope of the 10-day, and the 21-day is also. So even though this hasn't made new high yet, which is this is the previous high right here, but the slope of this is tremendous, like of this run. Like I would say stronger than, like pretty, a little bit stronger than the Nasdaq even. So that's a good sign. And right now, you know, again, we're just, you know, to keep testing this 2000 level, and you know, we have come back to it so many times. So you can see all those times here. So whether this time it actually gonna work and never come back again, that's the, you know, that's the next big question. Yeah, so let's jump to the notes for a second. There might be something else. Yeah, so we have follow through day. Something that Mark Mini talk about a lot is, you know, during uptrend, look for the tennis ball action, right? So what that means is, you know, the tennis ball, it bounced, you know, the way it bounced, and then when it comes back, you know, you want it to be like more smaller pullback, which is deemed normal. So look for that kind of action in the stocks, because that tells you they could have a lot more room to run. This guy Malcolm yesterday on CNBC was saying how right now we see the three puts on the market. So one is the Fed put, the Fed is not going to raise rates. Earnings put, the earnings pretty much have done really well this quarter. Pretty much most of it are done now. And the consumers put, which is the final one, he said, like, that's the big one also. Consumers are still spending. They may have shifted some of the money, you know, like Walmart this week reported. They said that high-end consumers are, you know, actually, you know, buying Walmart stuff now. So that's why they jumped so much, because so the value has shifted. They're looking for more bang for their buck, and so Walmart is starting to look into that even more, and they want to capitalize on it. So, you know, yes, consumers have pulled back in spending in some ways, but they're still spending, right? That's the key. It's not like they're not buying. So instead of buying like a high-end brand something, they may still buy the same thing, but just not the high-end brand. Tom Lee mentioned about NVDA earnings and guidance. What happens if it misses? He said that probably money will rotate. That's what he thinks. He doesn't think the market will collapse. He thinks, you know, money will just rotate into somewhere else. If the earnings and guidance are good, NVIDIA, he thinks like more money will come into that stock, and obviously, you know, the AI group and stuff from the sideline. So, so that's, you know, so in both scenarios, he thinks, you know, no matter what happened to NVIDIA, he thinks the market will still do well. We already talked about the power trend, and I say S&P 500, you know, going sideways for 2 days after the fall today is not a bad thing. The other thing that is, yeah, let's jump to Nasdaq for a second. This was mentioned in IBD. Let me run the daily chart here. So we are on the 4th week of gains right now, which is very powerful right here. It's very powerful, 4 weeks of gains. But one of the things that was mentioned is the slope of the current run. This slope, you know, depends how you draw it. But if you could draw this channel line here, and this is the channel line here, this slope right here is quite strong. So if you draw this channel line here, okay, I didn't do a good job on that one, but let me try again. So all the highs and then the lows here, right? You see this slope is definitely a lot lower than this slope. So at some point in time, like this, I mean, it's going to be rare if this continues at this slope, but at some point in time, the slope will come down. And so just be aware of that. Right now, you know, it could be, you know, like even here, like they went up really strong, right? So, and then it just kind of not go as fast. So that could happen, right? So it could go like this. So it's just going to be maybe some digestion, possibly even in this area right now. So but no one knows, right, how long this steep slope will go for. But just something that I really mentioned, you know, you can't expect it to run this hot for a long time. Okay. In terms of news this week, like Dow Jones, you know, we know it closed at a high on the week, but it also did snap the 8-session win streak, which was the longest since December on Monday. The wicks have really fell quite a bit. So let me just jump to it for a second, just to show where it is. So yeah, like, I mean, this is, you know, lower than, you see all that lows there? It's like now super low right now. I don't know what that means, but it's just something to be aware of. It may be starting to get complacent in some ways. Like I'm not sure, but that's just something to be aware of. Yeah, so the Fed has paused the rate move now for over 280 days now, which is the second longest pause in modern market history. The last time it was this long was 2006-07 for 446 days. Which is kind of interesting because you know, the average is only 146 days. So we have already doubled that almost. And you know, it's interesting because 2006-07, that long pause, we all know what happened in 08. So something interesting, you know, to be aware of. Like, you know, I don't know if this is a precursor to a big downfall. I don't know, but it's just something that's interesting, right? A stat that's interesting. You know, but in general, a prolonged rate pause is eventually good for the market. So, you know, I don't know what that means, like what the stats is, but that's what it says here. So it says in 10 pause periods over the past 50 years. Okay, so this is where it talks about what happened. It has gained an average of 6% during an average of 160 days. But in the last 6 pauses, we have run longer than average, it has gained about 13%. So in a way, like, you know, the longer pauses may be actually better. But except that obviously we know, let's say, except this one scenario. So long pauses are typically good for stocks. Gains achieved at the last height in July 2023. Blah blah blah. Is when the Fed is forced to cut because of economic weakness, that stocks tend to sell off. And this is not the environment we're in today. So this is a great sentence, right? From this guy here, Buchbinder. So yeah, so if the Fed is, you know, has to cut because the economy is so weak, then it's probably not a good sign. So something I think, like, you know, if it happens, now they can cut because inflation is coming down. That's a good thing. But if they cut because the economy is getting really weak, and they worry about it, and that's not a good sign, because then the market will start to worry about slowdown. So yeah, so I think that's the key there. In terms of sectors, let me see here. Which sector did you talk about here? Financials. Okay, sorry, I missed that word. Financials are one of the best sectors during the Fed pauses, and we're seeing that right now. Energy has been the second best performer. Also, we're seeing that when there's pauses. So yeah, so those two have done really well. Okay, so Tuesday, producer price index rose 0.5%, higher than estimate 0.3. Wholesale prices rose 2.2. Yeah. And then the treasury fell a little bit. And then Powell speaking. And he said about this, he said, U.S. economy has been performing well lately. Consumer spending, business sentiment has been strong. Inflation also showed progress. And Tuesday PPI was hot, not hot, but mixed. So he didn't seem to worry about that. And then on Wednesday, we have the CPI rose 0.3% over month over month, and annual increase of 3.4%. And then the monthly was 0.4% monthly rise, 3.5% annual increase. So the core, excluding food and energy, was 0.3 and rose 3.6, both meeting expectations. So yeah, overall I think it was slightly, let me show you the chart here. It's probably easier to see. So you can see the core CPI is the red, and February, March, April. So you can see it's coming down. So that was good. And then the blue also been coming down. So this line right here, you know, the yearly change number, not the monthly, but the yearly change. This is monthly, this is yearly. You can see the slope of the curve, the line is just continue to go down on the core CPI, right? And the blue line has been stable. So yeah, so here you go, 3.4%, no, 0.3% on monthly, and 3.4% yearly, and then the core is 3.6% yearly. So they both, you know, kind of like, obviously, you know, the word sticky here. The service is a little bit sticky. So this is the service one, without energy. So this is without goods and without energy. It's also a little bit sticky at 5.3%. So the May Empire State Manufacturing came in at negative 15.6, which is worse than forecast. So yeah, but Wednesday, you know, after the CPI data, we have the official follow-through day because of the higher volume. And the pullback in March, April gave the stock market a needed break. And also the bull run kicked into gear since January 6, 2023. That's the official date the IBD confirms uptrend. Still has legs. So it's been running now from January 2023 to now. And also the breadth is good. Breaks out, expand. 10-year yield, you know, the drop in 10-year yield helped with a lot of groups. Well, let's jump to that right now. And you can see it has dropped significantly. So now it's back all the way to the 200-day. It did bounce off the 200-day. We'll see what happened. The slope line is like this. So some people think it'll go a lot lower. So that's going to be interesting. What's going to do next? Whether it'll break this. I think if it breaks this, I think Russell obviously going to run like crazy. But you know, we'll see. Yeah, but you know, so far it's on this downtrend, and if it continues, that'll be really good for like, you know, especially for Russell. So that's where that is. Yeah, so this was a powerful day because they said that out of all the industry groups, over 21 of them rose 2% higher, at least. That includes some software, semiconductor, and building related fields. Yeah. And obviously lower interest rate will benefit industries thanks to lower cost of capital to invest or make acquisitions or issue stock buybacks. And the breadth also show the more winners are, you know, on the advanced decline kind of thing. It's much higher ratio. So let's go look at that here. So yeah, I just love this picture because this nice round bottom really intrigued me because we haven't seen that in a long time. And so the advanced decline line somehow had this round cup belt pattern at the bottom here. And since then, you can see we are now clearly at new highs, even before the market index hit new high. So that's a really positive sign because the breadth in stocks are expanding on the S&P. On the NASDAQ, we also saw that round cup bottom chart pattern. But this one is definitely a lot weaker still. So it has come up, but it just hasn't come up strong at all. And even though NASDAQ at new high, this is like nowhere near new high. like, you know, so yeah, like in general, tech stocks are just not expanding their breadth as much compared to S&P 500 stocks. Yeah, so in general, that day was a strong day, and some of this stock like NVDA, Dell, Waters, Google were doing well. We'll talk more about that stock stuff later. Thursday did result in a distribution day. It just came one day after it climbed to new high. Nothing big. It was just a small downtake. Let me jump to the accumulation screen here. So let's look back a little bit. So we started to come under pressure, like, at least when IBD market was April 4th. But you can see, the accumulation has been, kind of starting to really go below the distribution level. So this is the number of stocks being accumulated and distributed. And then it continues that after we went under pressure. You can see all these days that are more under pressure. And then we went into correction. But the funny thing is, like, the accumulation start to outweigh more the distribution side. And you can see, like, more stocks are being bought starting April 22nd and continues till today. So the bottom has happened, as we know, much earlier, but the IBD couldn't confirm the uptrend because of, it needs a day that's higher, 1% or more higher, and also on higher volume. And because, like, I think there were 2 days that were up over 1%, but they just didn't have the volume, so it couldn't confirm the uptrend until this week. But the market has been in accumulation mode since, almost since April 22nd. And in terms of industry groups, you can see the similar result there. And then on the sector side this week, we by Friday we're seeing accumulation of all across the sectors. Tech actually was the strongest by Friday. And then financials 33 here, still strong. Retail was, strong at the beginning of the week. It kind of dropped off by Friday a little bit. Industrials are more stable. It was, like, really strong last week. And then health and financial commodities are kind of a little bit, like, a little bit of under accumulation as well. So far it looks okay, even though we have one distribution day here on Thursday, but it's a very minor drop. But it was on higher volume. That's why it counts as a distribution day. So we have PDD reporting this week, which is they own Temu, so that will be interesting. Let's jump to the stock right now since we're talking about it. It's definitely a very strong chart pattern. You can see it is climbing very strong. You see the slope of that. It came out with this double bottom, and then it fell right here, and then it built another cup base, and then kind of have handles everywhere here as it climbed the right side. So this will be a big earnings report for them. Right now, China is doing really well, the stock market. Before we jump to that, you can see all these blue days here recently, right, on higher volume. So that's a very good sign. And also all the selling days, like, the volume are so low, right? So yeah, so PDD doing really well in terms of technical picture. So it's if it gets a good earnings and guidance, it's gonna break out of this long base, and it might be very powerful breakout. So last time it broke out right here on the cup with handle, it went up quite a bit. And this is earnings line, really strong. Forecast right now is 50% rise on earnings. So again, I'm referencing the IB newspaper this week, and you can look at Canada is up 5.2% year to date, S&P 11%, Nasdaq 11%. Brazil is the only one that I see on the screen that's down 9%. UK, France, Germany, they're all in the positives. China 22%, probably the strongest right now in terms of performance. Hong Kong 4%, India 3%, Australia 3%, South Korea. So you can see China has the best gain so far this year. So obviously PDD has expanded to US as well and Canada. But yeah, but they're still their prime business still in China. So we'll see what they report. But I think it has potential. It's definitely Jim Roper liked this stock. I'm not sure if he owns it or not. I can't remember. But he really liked this stock. So something to pay attention to. It's probably the #1 stock in the China market right now. Like just based on history and also like the potential for growth. Because their numbers are really superb, right? Like, it was triple-digit growth. It's slowing a little bit in terms of growth, but it's still growing pretty fast. So if they can beat these numbers, it's gonna be incredible. And the sales side is also like the sales are like tremendous growth. So they're probably spending a lot of money on expanding their market. That's probably why the earnings are not as growing as fast. But the sales side, you can see, is growing. In terms of where it is ranking on my list, again, this list is ranked based on price performance since April 9. PDD is now 20% gain since that time, ranked 39. So we'll look at this list more, but it's pretty top on the list right now, and even before this earnings come out. So let's say if they have good earnings, it'll probably jump quite a bit. But it's a risk to take it right now if you don't own it already. But let's see. We have Macy's. Mott is also reporting. S&PS. Some of the dry shipping. So I do own Zim. Zim is doing really well. It's #3 on my list. It's had 80% gain since April 9. Top 3 stocks. So it's gonna impact that for sure. We'll see how that goes based on those guys' earnings. Toll Brothers, so the home builders, DEC, Shoe Carnival, Workday, Medtronic, and then yeah, we have NVDA as well. So let's just jump to it right now. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Tom Lee already talked about it. We are at like, let me see. I know it went to new high, but I don't know if it closed at the new high. Yeah, it didn't. So 967, 974 is the previous high. It's a really nice stock. Really nice stock. It has come back on the right side. Again, same thing. As PTD, it's very close to the breakout point. If it has good earnings and guidance, I'm sure it will break out. But if it doesn't, then it might fail this breakout, and we'll see how far it goes. This red line, the only thing I don't like about this is how far the red line is above the black line, which is the 200-day. That's the only problem, is that it is quite far away. It hasn't been this far away since a long time. So does it need more time to digest? We know it's the king of AI, at least on the chip side today. And I'm just not sure in terms of evaluation, is it too far extended now, right? And we have seen that many times. It could continue though. That's the thing. Just because it's it's quite extended from the back, because we have seen that right here. So sorry, my chart is kind of lagging a little bit. So here's the red line. So you can see just the distance wise, it has extended can extend it for a long time, for higher for a long time. So that, and then eventually it did close the gap right here, right? And this was a long base, and then it ran it again, right? So now, are we going through the same thing where it's just going to pause and let this black line come up? Possible. Or it can continue to get extended and just stay extended for a long time, right? So that's the question. So this could be the chart right here. or it's just gonna go sideways. So those are the two possible. But this cup is so nice. Like I don't remember the last time I've seen such a nice cup pattern, right? And so, and this is gonna start to look like a handle here. So it's gonna be a cup with handle pattern, and you know, and then possible breakout right there. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's not number, like in terms of performance, it's not the top of my list, but it is, you know, ranked 180. It has gained 8% since April 9. So that's why I don't own it. It's just because it's not the best performance, but it is, like, so many stocks right now are building bases and getting near the buy points. Like so many stocks, and a lot of those stocks are ranked hundreds and over on my list. And that's the good thing, because you know, usually you don't see, like, you know, hundreds or position 100 or higher, like kind of you know, still do well, right? Like right now the market is so strong, a lot of stocks are building bases and coming back on the right side, and they're ready to break out. So that's how powerful this market is. That's what I'm trying to aim at. Because if those stocks all break out, like NVDA, PDD, you know, and these are the ones that are like reporting earnings this week, but there's so many other ones that are, you know, coming up to their previous high and near buy point, and they're getting ready to set up to break out. And you know, and it could be sparked by NVIDIA. Who knows? Like I say, most likely tech stocks will get a boost from this guy. But other areas, I'm not sure how what's gonna happen. But they're all setting up right now to break out. So, very positive signs. Yeah. So, you know, we'll need a very big catalyst if we were to go back down in this market. Like what that catalyst is, I have no clue. But you know, it has to be a big one, because so many stocks are setting up. I don't remember the last time I see so many stocks setting up. This is just that's why the breadth is expanding so much, right? Because a lot of stocks are just starting to do that. So anyway, okay, just so you know, like, because you know, sometimes we can get easily excited, right? Especially when the number one stock in the market, NVIDIA, is reporting. It's important to talk about the downside, right? Because you know, we get too excited and then we get caught in the bad earnings or something, and we just kind of froze. IBD talked about this on Friday. You know, we look back at NVIDIA, for example. I know it sounds like a long time ago, but it's not. Let me take out some of the markets just it's more clear. Let me refresh. So this is what happened last time. On not earnings, but on a day that the stock reversed, right? And this was a really bad day because it went to new high and it reversed, like sharply lower. And then what happened? It basically went into correction. Even though it tried to break out right here and it fell again second time. You know, so beware of this. You could have a nice initial reaction, but then it could reverse. So just beware of that, right? It could happen, you know. And then same thing with CrowdStrike. Like, this is another stock that is coming back on the right side of the base. Hasn't really, I mean, it depends where you look at. The official is right here, but if you don't count that day, it kind of have broke out already. This one hasn't reported yet, but 16 days away. So it'll probably come close to this line unless it get hurt by NVIDIA result. You know, same problem here, right here, this day. And this was earnings related. So it went up really strong, and then guess what happened by the end of the day? And that's how you know the stock's gonna go lower eventually. And this is what happened, same thing, right? So IBD brought up this because, you know, we don't want to get too excited, because, you know, sometimes you can get caught off guard, and you know, like the worst scenario is that you bought near the top here, and then and then you just hold on. And nothing wrong with holding on if you're a longer term investor, but if you're doing swing trading, you get hurt, right? Because it has dropped quite a bit from here, like 360 to 280, right? So this is just something to be aware of, like you know, NVIDIA again, 974 to 756, right? So you get hurt if you did that, right? So yeah, and if you're doing swing trading, so just something to be aware of. Yeah. Okay. The Fed rate future 91%, no change in June. July 70%, no change. And September, we are now seeing a much higher percent, 49%. I think last week was pretty close. I can't remember. But yeah, so now after the CPI data, people are more confident there'll be a cut in September now. And then November, it stays the same. And then I believe December is another one. Okay, so this one is still pretty close. So I'm going to start with the AI, the strongest stocks in the big cap. Google, if anyone hasn't seen the Project Astra demo, go watch it. It's it blew my mind a little bit. And now anyone who didn't know why Apple chose Google AI for their phone now can understand why, because that was the demo. It was using the phone, for AI and stuff. And this stock has, look at this, 5 days of new highs, I think it was Monday, right? Yeah, Monday was the day they announced. I can't remember, was Monday or Tuesday, the demo. But since then, it just constantly go up. This is definitely the strongest big cap stock right now. Yeah, it make new high. Yeah, and definitely, probably after this demo, they probably have scared OpenAI a little bit. And the question is whether they can actually deliver. That's the question. The CEO did mention it might take them a year to get to live, or at least to fully live, right? They'll probably have different smaller deployments where people can start using it. But in terms of the full scale, probably in 1 year from now. But yeah, now I think it's very clear. From my opinion, like the phone market is really Apple and Android, right? Those are the two biggest market, pretty much dominate pretty much a high percentage of phones, and they own Android, so that's already big. And then now they have Apple gonna use it, so that's also big. So huge potential for them going forward because they dominate the phone market. How they're gonna capitalize on it, obviously we'll see. But at least from a penetration standpoint, they're gonna be pretty much dominate. And it's gonna be hard for anyone else, at least as the primary AI, right, on the phone. It's gonna be hard for even OpenAI to try to, I'm sure there's still gonna be people who want to use OpenAI versus Google, Gemini, or whatever. But it's just the fact that it's gonna be the primary AI. It's gonna be very, very powerful for them to be able to capitalize on that in the future. And market, definitely believe in that right now. So I believe this is the only big cap stock that make new high this week. Let's just go through them quickly. Microsoft, we're coming back up slowly. Yeah, it's built this flat base, so nothing wrong with the chart. Apple, again, same thing, coming back. They're all under the previous high, but they are coming back, so that's a good sign. Like Apple has come back up a lot. Amazon actually didn't do as well this week. I don't remember why. If anything came out that affect them, but it was a down week for them, which is not a good sign because the market was up this week. So relatively, you can see the RS line has gone down. Okay, we already talked about NVDA, so let's jump to Tesla. Yeah, Tesla is kind of, just not doing much right now. Has a kind of slight downtrend right now. We'll see what happens. But it is holding above the red line, so that's the one positive. So that might be a good thing, but hopefully it doesn't go back below that red line. And then we have Meta. Meta is coming back up slowly. It's you know, versus other guys, it's the only one that's kind of under the red line, which is the 50-day. So I'm not sure, like, you know, obviously since the earnings report, they haven't done well, and I'm not sure like what's going on here, but it doesn't look definitely not look as good as the other guys. So I focus more on the top 50 performance since April 9th, and I also did a list for since April 30th, which is again the day before Fed, because just the way things are calculated is I had to set one day before. But yeah, so last week, May 1st was the Fed day, right? So I also did another list for that. The lists are very similar. There are still few outliers, but anyhow, overall it's very similar. So you can see what I want to show you is how diversified in terms of performance right now, because we have, you see, like, technology, all the orange ones, like AYE, Snap, Pi, TME from China, Tencent Music, KD, we have Pins, we have Band, IoT, right? And then down here we have a few more like AGYS, Squarespace. I think they're being brought pirates, so that one is kind of done. Cyrus, another chip stock. So that's technology. And then now we look at retail. Vital is still top. ATGE, education, JD. So this one came up this week. I think it was earnings, right? I believe so. I can't remember. Kawa, Make My Trip, really power this week. We already talked about PDD. ANF is starting to come back up. Primer Water is also doing well. So again, this is in the top 50. Industrial, ZIM, so on the transportation side, we have BLPD. This one also power up quite a bit this week. And the way you can see from the relative strength making new high. This is the relative strength 3 months. Those guys did well this week. Then we have, let me see, industrial. We have AWAF and the aerospace defense still doing well. Again, another one, HWM in the aerospace defense. BMI in general industrial. FN, STRL, CMT, some of them in the electrical and one in construction. And then we see a couple more here. ITRI, power in the industrials. And VRT has dropped a little bit this week. Maybe we'll look at the chart in a second. VRT has dropped a little bit. And then we have, health, WGS in the biotech, medical products, TMDX. So Twist, medical biotech, Lantheus, PRCT, HRO, THC. So all these are doing well. Then we have commodities, ASC, CRS in the steel, USAP steel. The steels are doing well. Energy alternative GV, SGML in the, so metal is still doing okay. I think some of them rebound this week. And then finally we have financials, insurance Oscar in the health area, HG Insurance, BMA Banks Foreign, we have JXN Insurance, AX Financial. So yeah, so this is like, the top 50 list. I just went over this quickly just to show how diversified the top 50 is. It's not dominated by one sector. And as you go down, you continue to see the same thing. It's just very diversified, and breadth are increasing in each sector, and so really strong market right now. Anyhow, so we're gonna start just breaking down by the sectors, just to look at some of the stocks at the top, and then highlight maybe what's coming up myself. So first one we have Audio Eye, and this chart is quite superior. Obviously it's starting to look like going towards a climax run. This is in computer software. And this was the last buy opportunity right here because it pulled back to the 10-day, and it has obeyed 10 and 21 day quite well. And yeah, so it's still going. It's a small cap. That's probably why it can go up easier if there's lots of eyes on this. And then next one, we have Snap. Snap, obviously did this nice strong bounce from the earnings. It has climbed, and now it pulled back, and it bounced a little bit. It hasn't bounced as strong as I wanted to, so something to be aware of. Because generally I like to see the bounce happen faster than a pullback, and so this is a little bit suspicious here. So something to be aware of. We have impinge also in the top category here. So impinge here broke out on earnings, strong earnings. It has continued to climb, pull back slightly right here. Now it's taking off again, so it looks really sharp. Next up, I think Tencent Music. So this one, it was already climbing. Like you can see, it was already climbing for a long time now. It just wasn't really fast, but now it's starting to accelerate really fast. And after the earnings, they just take off. And since that, it hasn't pulled back to the 10-day line yet, which I'm very surprised. Yeah, so it's really strong. That's another one. KD is a software group, and also came out earnings like this nice breakout, very similar. The 10-day slope looks like this, and you can see it hasn't really pulled back to 10-day, and even here it started to bounce. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, so Pinterest bounced on this earnings right here, and then it kind of broke out, and then after that it pulled back slightly, and now it's taking off again. So Bandwidth is in the enterprise group, software enterprise group. It broke out on this earnings as well, and it had a big reversal, so not good for anyone who bought it that day. Then it came back right here to the 10-day, and it's now holding sideway pretty good. So if you don't look at that one bad day, it actually looked quite decent, because we have this high cup, and now it's forming this sideway, almost like a handle formation, and yeah, it looks pretty good. And yeah, so again, small cap stock, so something to, there's obviously going to be some volatility, but it's still holding pretty strong. It's been like 4 days now holding strong at this level. IoT, it's been doing well as well. You can see it's climbing up on the right side of the base. It broke out. It did pull back, but the pullback was very, not too bad. And it's just sitting around the current buy point at this previous high. So we'll see if it can bounce from here. But right now it's just, letting the 10-day catch up. So it looks good. SEMrush also broke out on earnings, and it has been climbing, and so here's the pullback. Again, it doesn't want to touch the 10-day. I always say this is my favorite stock when it doesn't want to touch the 10-day, and so we see this bounce right here, and it's looking pretty strong. It's the highest close so far. Next one, AGYS. This is integrated systems. Really strong bounce from the earnings. Like pretty insane how fast this is going. So we'll see when it pulls back whether it will try to touch the 10-day or below it. But this is going straight up like vertical. It just, like, it wasn't on my list before, like at least not at the top, and it just jumped all the way to the top from this week's trading. So yes, something to pay attention to. FICO in the financial area also broke out, and this right there, start to build in volume. breakout, so that's a good thing. And again, very similar pattern. Like the stronger charts are the ones that just continue to climb and didn't touch the 10-day. Right here is the slope line of the 10-day, very strong. Then we're gonna look at some older names like Palo Alto. They're coming back on the right side of the base after, you know, this is a pretty long base now, and it's starting to form, go higher, so we'll see. Yeah, then we have BZ, another enterprise software group, I believe. Oh no, this is internet content. So this is Chinese stock. So this one broke out and it's now on like 6-day run, and the slope is pretty strong. Volume is there on those days of accumulation. Yeah, so again, Chinese stocks are doing really well, surprisingly. Obviously not all of them, but the ones that are, they're doing really well. So you might want to pay attention as well. And let me just go back to the list. So, you know, we already talked about the ones in the top 50, and then as you go down this list, what I also look at is, like, you know, the ones that are making highs, you know, like Bumble making highs on relative strength, CrowdStrike, we already kind of look at that, again making higher relative strength, ACIW, Nutanix, you know, there's ANET, NVDA here. They didn't close on the strong side this week, but and then we have LSPD, you know, CFLT also doing well. Docs and Monday, both, I believe both of them reported this week. They did really well as well. So yeah, as you go down the list, it's getting lower and lower. But yeah, it's a pretty the tech, you know, is not as strong as other sectors, but it has come back up quite a bit in some stocks. Just, you know, we just wanted to see more breadth. We haven't seen that. Again, we're still seeing, you know, the some of the old names really at the bottom now. Cloudflare, Infra, Shopify, Frog, Nice, you know, ACMR, Duolingo, Coin. I think Coin got shot as well. Let's look at some of those just to see where they're at. Like Coin, you know, yeah, you see, I draw this downtrend line, and it just couldn't come above that downtrend line. So it's on a long-term downtrend now. And then ARM, again, you see it's under the 50-day line. It just couldn't. On Friday, you can see it just doesn't have the power to break through it, and then it fell down. People gave up on it, and so now, you know, we still have this uptrend line, so we'll see. If we go below this uptrend line, it's going to be bad. Something to watch out for. Let me continue here. Just want to highlight anything that is, yeah, even Meta is down here. We saw that, right? It's the only one that's under 50-day. So, you know, Hubs is down here. So this names, a lot of them are leaders before. They just hasn't climbed as much as it should, which is not a good thing. Next, we're going to look at retail, and we'll look at the top stocks first. So Vital Farms, look how nice this chart is. Like, this is the 10-day green line, 10-day green line. I'm just following the slope right now, 10-day green line, and then here's the really take off 10-day green line. Again, so far hasn't come down to the 10-day. I love charts like that because it just shows the power in them. So we'll see what happens here. We're getting close to it. So yeah, so that's Vital. We have, that's in the food meat product section group. ATG is in the education group. This is a powerful move right here as it climbed on the right side. Yeah, very powerful. And it did come down the last 2 days. So it started to see the ants building, the ants on market search here, the little dots at the top. So that usually means, you know, after a certain number of days of run, it shows those ants to signify that there's people accumulating this stock. and usually that involves higher volume on the up days versus the lower volume on the down days. But yeah, we have seen 2 days of pullback now. But again, the green line is still right here. It's not that far. It's still much below the red, the current price. Yeah, so we'll see how this coming week, how it react. Whether it will come down to the 10-day or not. We'll see. But it's definitely getting closer. Then we have, like I said, JD has come up quite a bit this week because of earnings here. But even before the earnings, I guess I just didn't pay attention to this stock. It was already rising, and so I did miss, this kind of nice move here. This was a nice strong day right here. So it's definitely extended now, but still, it could be a leader just because JD is in the retail, like kind of like similar to Amazon, but probably just not as big. But yeah, look at all these volumes here. It's like skyscraper volume, and then the down days are so low on volume. Yeah, it just shows a very good technical sign of this stock, and it reported on after hours Thursday probably, or Thursday, I don't know. And it has look at where it closed on those 2 days, all at the top. So follow through action, very nice. Next we have Cboe. Again, we see a strong slope here. Just for your information, the red lines is where usually I set my stops. As it climbs, I continue to push my stops higher. It's up to you where you want to set your stop, but I like to move my stops up as the stock climb. But anyhow, this stock broke out, and it's it doesn't go straight up, which is a good thing because usually those will die quicker, those rallies. But whereas Cboe, it just kind of goes up, pulls back, goes up, pulls back, goes up, pulls back. But every time it comes close to the 10-day, it does touch it, but it bounced off it, and this is a classic bounce right here on Friday. So also the volume on the sell side is a lot lower than the blue days up, so also a good sign. The next one is make my trip from India. Everyone say India has a strong GDP growth, and it's showing in this stock. They're doing really well. Look at the volume rising on the upside. Even on this, the one day that is up volume, where did it close? It closed at the top. So people are not letting go. Like people are actually buying into it as it falls. So now it's starting to look a little bit climaxy run because it's starting to curve upward, and so that's potential for it to. And this is the longest slope line on the upper channel. It definitely passed it. So watch out for a climax run here. This could happen. Yeah, let's make my ANF has done really well, like recently. It has climbed back really fast pace. It hasn't broke out yet, but in 10 days they will report. But yeah, so it looks like it want to break out before the report because 10 days are far away. So we'll see how this goes. So Primal Water, this chart looks very clean. I like it because it's trading really tight, even for a $20 stock. Obviously, the one big day right here, jump on earnings. And I definitely came in this stock late, but yeah, the earnings day, it did fall back, but the next day it kind of came back up again, so that's a good sign. And since then, it's just going sideways again, waiting for this 10-day to catch up. So yeah, it looks good. Yeah, some of the other stocks that are hitting new high relative strength, Shark Ninja, doing really well. We have TCOM. I think TCOM might be reporting soon. IFF is another cosmetics company. On did reported this last week. I believe they did pretty good on the earnings side, and it jumped. jump on the earnings here. The only thing I don't like about this chart is it's very choppy, right? It just chopped everywhere. Like even during this base, it's like so ugly. Like that's the only thing I don't like about it. But yeah, obviously you jump on the earnings right here. It has climbed pretty much straight up almost. But eventually it'll come to the 10 days, so we'll see how it reacts around there. But this is again very long base. Let's look at the weekly chart right here. Yeah, it's a pretty long base, and you know this big breakout is a big move for this week. You can see how long this range is. Yeah. The other stocks that are at high relative strength: Texas Roadhouse, PHIN here. Yeah, I think retail was a little bit not as strong this week because I feel like a lot of them didn't make new relative strength high. We're going to move on to industrials. In the top list here, we have Zim, integrated shipping. Again, reporting this week, 2 days from now. So probably on Tuesday. It has climbed quite a bit. And you can see it, even on this day, it pulled back. It closed near the top. And then since then, it's been going sideways now, letting the 10-day to catch up. Again, very strong sign of some holding here, as it doesn't want to come back down to the 10-day. So we'll see how it reacts on the earnings. It's up, you can see here, up close to 20-something% from the breakout point. Next one on the list here, ASPN. This name I haven't heard many people talk about it at all, and I don't even remember once. And so it's a little hidden gem, I think, because you know when no one talks about it, then that means nobody knows about it. And yeah, and you know you can see the breakout is so strong, and it hasn't even come back to it once. And then the 10-day is at a very strong slope. Had one bad day right here, one long day, bad day right here. Volume was there, but it's slowly bouncing back. We'll see how this goes. It's, you know, sometimes you get those 1 day bad day, and then it slowly bounces back. So we'll watch and see how this goes. Bluebird continues to fly. This chart is just probably it's quite strong compared to others, just because, you know, it never come close to the 10-day much. You can see it's always quite far distance away from it. And this is the slope right now. And look at this hold right here. Look at the ends starting to build. Again, the ends are a strong sign of accumulation, generally like high volume accumulation and lower down day accumulation, distribution, I mean. And so, yeah, this looks really healthy in terms of the chart action here, especially after such a big move here as well. So, yeah, very unique in that sense. Next we have PHG. PHG, you know, is similar to GE, right? Like the diversified operations. It has this one big volume day. I think it was the earnings. Yes, it's the earnings. I'm not sure why my chart's coming up slow today. Sorry for the delay in the chart as I speak. Usually when I speak, the chart loads right away, but so today, sorry for that. Anyhow, it did pull back right here to the 10-day. And then it has bounced since. Again, this is another chart where it never touches the green line. And to me, those are the stocks that are very powerful, because what's happening is, you know, people don't want to sell, and that's why it never came down to 10-day, right? There's no panic as well and those kinds of things. Some stocks will panic and they'll touch the green line and then bounce back up. And nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know, I just find the ones that don't do that are showing signs that, hey, people are trying to accumulate this stock, and we do see some volume here. And now it's climbing up, right? again, we had this one bad day reversal that did eventually come down here close to the 10-day, but didn't quite touch it. Yeah, I know some people in IBD follow this, but they probably didn't buy into it. Like, this was the long base right here that it built after this 2-day run on earnings and then fell apart. So, you know, yeah, so now it's climbing the right side, really, you know, really tight action, and now it has broke out, and now, you know, it's continue on this 10-day ride here, moving average. So yeah, potential to continue. HWM also in that space, aerospace and defense, similar. You can see the 10-day, it's just climbing, and right here it's going sideways, you know, after the run right here, and so yeah, it looks good. So here's BMI, bearish meter, in the industrial machinery. Again, broke out on strong earnings, and the green line continues to climb, and it did kind of touch it right here. Oops, that's where my arrows draw. Actually, that, yeah, right there, and then it bounced off it, and now it continues. So yeah, good. You know, this is now like almost near to 20% off this breakout. Obviously, you may not have bought into this before, so like me, I bought after, but yeah, it's still climbing pretty nicely. Fabrinet in the contract manufacturing for electrical. Nice breakout right here on the downtrend line. Has slowly climbed. Again, see the 10-day slope right here. Hasn't touched it yet. So really strong move. Sterling, yeah, this one did well before. Has you know, small run here, and then built a long base, broke out right here on earnings. Now it's starting to climb. It did fall back the last 2 days though, so we'll see what happens here. Yeah, CMNT, this one also in the electrical space, broke out right here. Nice clean breakout, and then look how it didn't want to touch the 10-day right there, and then it bounced, and then now we fall 2 days, but still we're still a little bit further away from the 10-day still. So good sign so far. ITRI broke out, really strong 2 days movement here, then go up a little bit more, pull back. Again, look at that, it didn't touch the 10-day. This is a very common theme among the best performers, right? And what I'm showing here are the, you know, some of the best performers in the market in the last month, more than a month, since April 9th, and this is what they're doing. They just don't want to come down to the 10-day because people want to accumulate shares in those. So we'll see, getting really close to new high again. So yeah, Powell, electrical power equipment. So you can see this group is really strong. Yeah, and it hasn't done much since the earnings, because it kind of climbed, but then it kind of didn't do much. So that's the only negative here. So yeah. Yeah, so I'm not sure, like, you know, the relative strength line you can see is coming down. Probably, you know, yeah, this is starting to, you know, be a little bit weaker than other stocks. So ERJ, aerospace defense, another one. This group is really strong, as you can see, lots of names in this group. This one bounced, and like it just broke out, and look how fast it's moving. Yeah, I don't have this stock, unfortunately. It just come from behind. You can see it's ranked 49 now on the list. Then we have VRT, and this is probably, I would say, the #1 stock in this industrial group. Again, focus on electrical area. Obviously, they're known for the AI related theme because of their technology, infrastructure technology for data centers and communication network. And Jim Ropel, he liked this stock a lot, but it did pull back pretty hard on Thursday. I don't know if there's any news. And then on Friday, it kind of just closed at the 10-day. So it did. So this stock does touch the 10-day quite often. So it's not new, but it does bounce back every time. So even this like really ugly 2 days right here, it bounced back, and then here's another 2 right here, bounce back right there, and here's another one. Just lots of touching the 10-day. Now again, the stronger ones are the ones that doesn't touch the 10-day, but this one is just one that touched the 10 days and bounce. It has constantly do that. This pullback was the last time you could probably add some decent position here, but now a little bit more volatile. I don't know if this means something like it's near the top. It's possible, because when stocks are near the top, they tend to be more volatile, even as they make new high. And this is, a gap up right here. So something to be cautious. I'm pushing up my stops here, and you can see it's getting really close to it. We'll see what happens, but like I said, this stock is just known to hit the 10-day and bounce back. So if it does fail, like this is not a good sign you can see on the intraday chart. It's just constant selling here Thursday and Friday. So I don't know if this is something that some institutions say, hey, this might be it. We're gonna take our profit. And this could be the last time because when things get too obvious, every time it bounces off the 10-day, you're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna buy here, but then finally this one time you buy here or whatever, you put in a full position, and then it doesn't work. And the other thing is, you can see it's a little bit further away from 200-day, the black line, and also the 50-day line on the red. In terms of, as far as the rest of the list go, on the industrial side, we have KEX on the transportation ship, so similar to ZIM. We have AES on high relative strength, APH. I don't follow those stocks, but yeah, just T-Tech down here. Mott is reporting this week, so that one is kind of pulling back. Just since it's reporting, let's talk about it. So this one tried to break out, and then you can see right here it pulled back to the 10-day, then it bounced off the 10-day, and then now it pulled back again on the 10-day. So yeah, similar to VRT, but at least this one doesn't have really crazy pullback. It just looks more normal to me. But we'll see what happened with the result as well on this guy. Let's move on to the health list, and we have WGS, 100% gains since April 9. So let's take a look at that. So here's WGS, Gene DX, right? And this one is flying really pretty good right now. Here's the 10-day line. Again, it hasn't touched the 10-day once yet. This is very powerful. Next one is TMDX. This one bounced on earnings as well, came out, and again, another stock that doesn't touch the 10-day. Here's the 10-day right here, and it's quite far off it. Then we have Twist Bioscience, another one that just broke out. Again, here's the 10-day, and even on this pullback, it didn't touch it. Now, same thing here, pullback, but then it didn't touch it. It's trying to rebound right now, so let's see what happens. Then we have Lantiers. Yeah, this one, you know, it's been a long base. It didn't do well until this earnings report came out. Look how tight it's trading right here. It just doesn't want to go down. Here's the 10-day line again. Like, just doesn't want to touch it. Very good signs. PRCT, Procept, Biotech, Biorobotics. Yeah, so this one breakout earnings. Nice base here. That's pretty flat base. And then here's a rebound. It did come close to touching the 10-day right here, but you know, I don't know what happened Wednesday. It was a big move here, and then now it's very tight trading again. So this is also another good sign, and the volume is much lower, and holding really tight. So yeah, potential here. We have H-roll and THC here. Let me jump to H-roll first. This one also came out on earnings, and it's been holding really tight. Look at how tight this is trading on the low side. The 10-day is very far below though. That's the only problem. So it might need more time to digest, but so far it hasn't come back down even close to 10-day. So THC, Tenet Healthcare, you can see right here, it bounced really hard on earnings. Let me draw that line right here. And then since that time, it just continues. And then every pullback, you know, again, so far right here, this pullback didn't even touch the 10-day. Again, the slope looks like this. And right now we have another pullback. Again, so far hasn't touched the 10-day. We'll see what happens. And then going down the list, you have Moderna, mRNA, hitting new high relative strength. You have UTHR, Amgen, actually on the low relative strength. So this one pulled back quite a bit. Prime, let's look at that one. This is also a long consolidation, so it hasn't really come out yet in general. So, but it has some potential. You can see the blue volume are much higher. This is a small cap stock, so be aware of that. Yeah, and there's other ones that have new relative strength, high RNA, BLTE, BGNE. Next, we're gonna move on to commodities. This one, like the commodities have, you know, hasn't been as strong lately. You know, oil obviously has come back down to below 80. But here we do have some ASC. This is oil gas transport pipeline, STNG as well. Let's look at ASC. This one you can see it just power up after the earnings, and really powerful, and then it just continued to follow through since then. Yeah. Then we have some steel here, CRS and USAP. So there's something happening there as well. I like to see when a group move, when similar stocks in the group are moving. So here's another one. It's just climbing, nice slope right here. USAP. So stainless. Here's the 10-day slope again. Very close to 10-day. Here's where the last time it touched right there. And this is a little consolidation here, and so far it's looking good. Then we have SGML. So this is in the mining. It's just this one, lithium mining. So long base here, starting to come out, and huge volume. Look at that on Friday. I'm not sure if there's any news. I assume there is, but anyhow, yeah, surprisingly lithium now, this stock is catching on. So then we have oil and gas transport, STNG, copper still doing well. AGI, here's the gold stuff, AEM gold, LPG got oil gas transport pipeline, PASS, WPM. So all these are gold right? CCJ, yeah, NGVS cover. So I mean, you know, there's still, you can see a lot of them hitting high relative strength this week. So they did close the week off pretty strong. So maybe they are coming back, because recently they all saw some of them, you know. Let's look at gold, like at least one gold here, AGI. So here's the, you know, little bit of a consolidation here, and then just recently you can see how fast it's taking off again. So okay, do have MNTK at the bottom here, so that one is on the high list as well. This one is in, yeah, landfill methane, renewable energy. So here's the breakout right there, holding so tight after it broke out. This is really good. Last group we have in the financial, and I think we will see lots of insurance here. Oscar, right, and HG, both insurance. Let's jump to it. This stock is looking very good. It's now near the 20% zone, profit taking zone. Broke out and just continues to climb. That's the slope of the 10-day. Then we have HG, Hamilton Insurance. This one is climbing really fast as well. Here's the 10-day slope. Look at this tightness right here. Doesn't want to touch the 10-day and then bounce. So there's some accumulation happening here for sure. Looking very good. BMA, that's the banks foreign. This one I mentioned before. It does move, you know, a few percent a day sometimes. But overall the chart looks healthy, right? So here's the slope line right now at the 10-day, and you know, the only thing is you see, I don't like to see all those red days, but when it does move, it moves like say 3-4%, give back some, move 3-4%, and then give back some. So a little bit more volatile than some stocks, but overall it is in an uptrend. So yeah, JXN, this is also insurance. So we can jump into it. Yeah, a nice uptrend, very stable. It does touch the 10-day, but it's just right off the 10-day. Here's on Friday, it did bounce pretty strong. Volume has kind of really dry up on the sell side. You can see how tight that one red day is on Thursday. So these are, you know, good signs of the technical chart action. AX, this one was highlighted on IBD newspaper this week. This one looks like they deal with financial savings and loans. Also come up nicely here. Again, instead of going down further, it kind of went sideways now. And so good sign for this stock after it breaks out from here at 60. So looks really good. Then we have BCTR, AMBC, CRBGC1. Then we have some of these ones. BRP also did well this week. MCY. Yeah. You see Goldman Sachs down here a little bit. IBKR. And then Hood is down here. Hood also did well this week. So let's just jump to it quickly. So yeah, it did finally come out of this, trying to come out of this base now. Volume is super high on 2 of the last 4 or 5 days. Yeah, so this week is a really healthy week, and on the weekly chart you can see it's just one big week coming. Last week was terrible because you can see how it reversed, but this week after the earnings, it did really well. So the earnings wasn't good last week, right? But then this week, like, it bounced back. So that's what happened to this one. So but it's not at the top of my list just because the performance is lagging a little bit, even though it bounced back recently. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Hope you guys will have a good trading week. Please like or subscribe. Thank you. Bye.